The sound was so violent it didn't feel like noise. It felt like a verdict. Metal slammed metal, sharp and final, followed by rapid mechanical clicks that echoed through the quiet street. I wasn't asleep, but my body reacted like I'd been shocked awake. When I stepped outside, the driveway lights revealed my father standing stiffly in front of my garage, arms folded, eyes fixed on the door like it had just betrayed him. Inside that sealed space sat 3 massive industrial trucks that did not belong to me, parked without permission, without warning. Without shame, my name is Aaron Miles. I was 45 years old. Worked remote IT contracts, paid my dues, mowed my lawn on schedule, and believed rules were meant to make life easier. That belief ended the moment my neighborhood association decided my garage was no longer mine. The trucks had arrived at dawn. No logos, no markings, just dark steel and weight. I'd watched from the porch as they rolled in, engines humming low, deliberate, like they knew exactly where they were going. A woman stepped out behind them, confident, composed, already annoyed that I was standing there. She was the association president, Lydia Cross, a person who treated regulations like personal weapons. She smiled and spoke as if the matter was settled. Temporary use. Community needs. Already approved. Approved by who? I asked. By policy, she replied. The drivers didn't wait for an answer. They opened my garage using a code I hadn't given anyone and filled the space completely. When the door came down, my father didn't raise his voice. He didn't argue. He simply said, "We were done asking." Dad had moved in with me 6 months earlier. Retired military. Decades of logistics and mechanical problem solving. He distrusted authority that couldn't explain itself. He stared at the garage door like it was a puzzle that insulted him. Then he asked me to bring him locks. I didn't question it. I brought everything we had: chains, bolts, reinforcement bars. He worked methodically, sealing that door like it held something dangerous. When he finished, he called the sheriff. The confrontation that followed drew the entire street. The association president argued policy. My father argued property law. The sheriff sided with reality. No permission meant trespass. The trucks stayed put, not because of us, but because now they were evidence. That should have been the end. It wasn't. That night, long after the streetlights dimmed, I heard movement near the garage. Quiet, careful, intentional. When we checked the camera feed, Lydia was there, dressed in dark clothes, cutting tools in hand. She worked fast. Too fast for someone who claimed everything was legal. Before she could finish, my father activated the sprinkler system. Water exploded across the driveway. She slipped, cursed, and fled, soaked and humiliated. By morning, the footage had spread. People laughed. But something about the trucks bothered me. Associations didn't need vehicles like that. They didn't need secrecy. We opened one. Inside was not maintenance equipment. It was surveillance. Screens, cables, storage drives. Cameras disguised as household objects. Files labeled with street names and resident details. Schedules, photos, notes. My house had a folder. So did everyone else. It wasn't management. It was monitoring. The violation wasn't subtle. It was deliberate. Someone had been watching us, documenting habits, weaknesses, routines, and they had used my garage as a staging ground. We didn't panic. We documented everything, carefully, quietly. The emergency meeting the next evening was tense before it even began. Lydia stood at the front with prepared statements and practiced calm. She accused us of obstruction. My father stood and calmly corrected her. The policy she cited had expired years earlier. He had proof. Then I asked the question. She wasn't ready for why the surveillance equipment. The room froze. I showed the photos, the devices, the files, the evidence. People recognized their own homes, their own lives reduced to notes. The association board shifted. Away from Lydia like gravity had changed, she tried to explain it as safety, compliance, order. That explanation collapsed when her former assistant stood up and said she helped install it. And that data had been sold, quietly, to third parties. Without consent, Lydia left before the meeting ended. Authorities arrived. Soon after, Federal.com, efficient, they took possession of the trucks and the files. Lydia didn't fight when they escorted her away. She looked smaller without her authority. The neighborhood didn't celebrate. It exhaled. We spent weeks undoing what had been built. The association restructured. Transparency replaced secrecy. Oversight replaced fear. People talked again. Not in whispers, but on porches. One afternoon, while cleaning out the garage, I found a small recorder tucked behind a beam. A final message. Lydia's voice, calm, certain, warning that without control, everything would fall apart. My father listened, then switched it off. Control, he said, was never the same as care. The garage is empty now. It's just a place again. A place for tools and boxes and quiet afternoons. But every time I hear metal close, I remember how quickly peace can be taken, and how easily it returns when people refuse to stay silent. That lesson stayed with me, and it always will.